All right, we're gonna go for a little ride. Let's see what this thing will do. Right into reverse. Oop. Into drive. Yeah, move the seat all the way back so I can barely touch the pedals. That's good. Definitely shifted first to second much smoother. Oh yeah. Seems pretty good. Turn down here, we'll give it a very aggressive takeoff and see how it shifts through. Oh yeah, perfect. No hard shifting, no slipping. Beautiful. That was fantastic, actually. Very smooth. You almost couldn't feel the shifts. If you look back at one of the early videos where we took it for the first ride, you could see just how rough it was before. I mean, this is night and day on the shifting. It just didn't know when to shift. With that fuse pulled, I guess it had no signaling, so it was just going probably off line pressure, is my guess. And it was only shifting at, you know, probably max line pressure, which was wide open throttle also. Yeah, effortless shifting. All right, we fixed something. I'm a fan. Yeah, she's running good, shifting great, idling smooth, no harsh shifting. Want to test kick down too. Yeah, drop down. Gets on it, has good power. That feels a lot more like a 302 should feel. Before it just felt lethargic. But we woke her up. That morning coffee and beer probably helped. Ah, excellent. Now we're circling back around. We're gonna pull in here. We got some cleaning to do. There she blows. She hadn't been open in a while, so she was a little crispy. So we're gonna WD-40 it up. It was dragging real bad on this, I guess it's like a tension rod. It keeps it from flopping open too fast. We're gonna clean that up. I'm actually gonna try to wire this back in and see if we can fix the switch, because the guts are there. And I found the lock cylinder in the truck. The only reason he took it out was because he didn't have a key. But I think I have a fix for that. So we're gonna try and get this back together, get it working the way it should. Worst case scenario, it should still work from the toggle up in the dash, and I have a new one of those just in case it's failed. So at least it's down though. I can get this thing cleaned out because it's filthy back here. So we're gonna do some cleaning. Got the trash bin handy to toss stuff, and let's get her looking like she should. Guy went ahead and left me a almost full can of brake clean. That was nice. Gonna need it to spray all this Lucas that he spilled all over the floor. Also nice. Got a couple rust holes here. I knew I was going to have some actually because I crawled underneath this and I could see through into this vinyl trunk liner here and also in this corner, and you can see how rusted this roll bar is. Drag is, I for some reason thought in my head this roll bar went at an angle here to here, which would be great because then I think I could disconnect where the seat belt goes and tie it to it, because when I take this top off, those seat belts are gonna have to come out. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I want to do for seat belts in the rear, because I do intend to make this top removable. Maybe I go to lap belts, or maybe I find a bar that's got a cross runner. I don't know. Or I go to a shop and have them weld a bar on there, something strong enough that I trust and can do it. I want to do that the right way. Obviously, seat belts are important. So at the minimum, I'll do lap belts with the same factory provision so I know they're not going anywhere. But with the top off this thing, I would love to have a shoulder harness as well. So that's something to think about. We got time there. Got some mystery cut wires. Ground and that looks like a power wire, but it doesn't run anywhere. I don't know what that would be for. That might be an original factory spare. Kind of cool. I wish this had the carrier on the back. I love the way those carriers on the rear look. Unfortunately, this one is not. And I looked it up, and to try and modify it, it's a total pain because you'd actually have to drill and like get bracing in here to get the little nutserts in. So we're just going to leave it back here. I may actually take it out for the time being, clean everything up, and then put her back in later. I might even mount it differently or just lay it in there so I can pull it out easy, because I'm often lugging a bunch of stuff. I hate to take up that much real estate with a tire. I hate to run around with a spare, without a spare, but I mean, you know, makes for more fun when you don't have one. So just from the glove box we went through last time, these are the bad 15 amp fuses. I found more on the other side too. This pile, that pack unopened, and then this whole handful, all good fuses. So I hit the fuse mother load. There's my trash pile. Just up the glove box alone. Found some extra goodies in the back too. I got that trailer harness, a whole roll of trash bags, unopened thing of primary wire. He was probably going to try and rig up something, a switch for that window is my guess. That can of brake clean, found the tire iron, got the stock radio, which if anybody's interested in, that'll be free to a good home. Was going through the ashtray, found some interesting stuff. I guess bullet tip or something. Random screws, a couple keys, light bulb. This drives me nuts. This connector, which was still together, that he cut on both sides, too close really to reuse, clearly is from the window. Why he wouldn't just disconnect it, beyond me. That's annoying. But this, I wanted to show you guys. This is why you don't oversize your fuses. This is a 30 amp fuse that clearly he shoved into that bad 15 amp socket that he couldn't get right. And it melted the plastic and damn near probably burned this thing down without blowing the fuse, because he had it double the size. And this whole thing would be gone. That's why you don't do that. I'm pretty sure what was causing that short was the overdrive button, which I went ahead and disconnected that other end and pulled it through. So now there's no wire up there. With this disconnected, we shouldn't be tripping that anymore. Time will tell. But I'm gonna, like I said, in the meantime, rig up probably a switch for now to toggle overdrive off if I want to. But we're going through, I'm still trying to clean this thing out. I laid some old clothes on the back just to soak up some of that Lucas transmission fluid. Stop. Just trying to clean this thing out so I can hit it with the shop vac. What a mess. Alright, it's time to fire off the vacuum and get to cleaning, so cue the music. Not that music. Let me bring you down on this magical action here. The lever for the seat recline had snapped off. It rivets on right here. It's not screwed on, so it'd be a real pain to put something else on there. But I was like, well, let me see what I got. I have this little pull cord, like a stretchy pull cord, bungee. Fed it through, looped it around, and pulled it through itself. And now I can use this and pull it, and it'll lift up and make that mechanism work. So good enough for now. I'll put this cover back on, and then it'll just dangle off to the side. No big deal. It's par for the course for the rest of this thing right now. But hey, at least it'll function. So we got this little channel cleaned out. And what I want to do is just get this little rubber gasket to sit at least somewhat in place so the door will seal okay. So what we're going to do is just run a couple self-tapping stainless screws through it, and hope we get just enough purchase to hold it still. Doesn't have to be crazy. I just want it to not whistle when I drive. Truck's a little crusty right here, so I got to find a spot that'll actually bite and not just slip right through. Try right here. That should do it. Get that whip up around it. Let's see. Yeah. Right up against it. Love it. Calling that good enough. Wouldn't call it fixed. We'll call it good enough. This thing's really starting to look better. It's coming together. We got it all vacked out. All that gunk is still sitting at the bottom, so I got to clean that out. But we got a little hole right here we got to address. Rust hole. You can actually see all the way through to the driveway. It's a baby guy, so we're going to use the baby repair plate. As I banged on it, that hole grew a little larger. So what we're going to do, clean this out. We're going to put us a full-size plate in here. So we're going to put this guy in. It's a 2007 model. Let's grab a couple of those self-tappers once we get it in there. All right. Boom, like new. So I've been thinking, it'd be real nice to have some kind of cover over this so I don't drop something and shatter that glass. I went to the garage and I found this piece of plywood cut out already like perfect for the job, and brought it out to my paint booth and sprayed it down. And what you want to do with the plywood too is make sure you get it from one angle and then from the other, so you can fill in all those little nooks and crannies. And make sure you do it way too close to your car. So that way, when you're wondering where the hell all that overspray came from, you can look back and go, oh yeah, it's from when I painted all that stuff right next to it. So we're gonna let that dry up. It actually was cut already perfect size so that rather than screw through it, I'll put some big washers on it, and it lines up so that the holes that would have held the original cover on fall just outside of it. So the washers will hold it down, but I won't have to drill through the wood. So it'll be easy. If I ever have to take it off, I can loosen it up, slip it out, slip it back in. I don't have to line up 8 different tiny little holes. I'll just cinch it down right on the outsides. What I'll do is I'll actually run it so the wire's kind of pinched on either side of this so as not to get stuck in that window track. And I'll tape it on either side so they're away from the window enough. I'm going to reconnect this loose. I'm going to reconnect it without bolting that cover back on. I'm going to put the window, I'm going to try and get the window back up and see if I can get my lock cylinder working before I put the cover plate back on. I'd love to be able to have control of this thing from the dash and from the key like it's supposed to. And I was telling you I needed to do a fix for that. So what I'm doing, I've got the original lock cylinder that he took out and left in the car for us. And what we did was we just sat there and got it gutted out. So now there are no there's no sleeve around it. There are no pins, the tumblers in there. So now with any key, even if the key's not all the way in there, even with a pocket knife, even with anything, you can shove it in here, bam, and give this thing a twist. And look at that, it'll just spin right around all day. So now we'll be able to put a key in, turn it, get this window to go up and down. So can anyone else, but don't tell anybody. This thing's going to be the little runaround fun truck anyway. Nothing expensive is getting left in this thing overnight. It's going to be just a runabout little fun toy. So down the road I can get a lock cylinder that's actually good, but it's hard to find on these Broncos because it's kind of a wonky setup, and it's one that's selective and exclusive to apparently the Bronco and the Country Squire, I think it is, station wagons. And neither of those are very plentiful in the junkyards. So until we find something else, this will get us by. Alright, so we're going to take just any old key. This is the ignition key. Get it in here even a little bit of the way. Down. How about that? And up. Disco. Bam. Fixed. I mean, it probably wouldn't go for the Concours d'Elegance, but I'd say that looks pretty good without having to cut a piece of wood, something that we already had to fit just right. At least now I can't drop something through here, shatter a window. We got our panel in here, we got our patch panel here, everything cleaned out. We can actually get in and out of this thing now. So I'm satisfied. We got ourselves a fully functional Bronco at this point. Only wires that are disconnected I know of are third brake light, which is okay because again this thing is going to be getting detached often anyhow, and also the dome lights are disconnected, but there's no light fixtures in either one anyhow, so for now we'll let that ride. We're going to have a junkyard day in the future. We need dome lights, we need the dash pieces, the bezels there. We're going to need a couple little accoutrements for the inside, but for now she's all back together, she's all functional, and she's about ready to wipe down and take for a spin.